Sources say the $2 subsidized transport fares for the over 60s could be curbed, with more expensive journeys costing more. Forecast-topping earnings of tech firms give the city's stock market a blistering boost. And debt-laden Paul Y Construction gets green light from the court to appoint provisional liquidators for 5 of its subsidiaries. Good evening, you're watching Cable News. I'm Jeremy Chu. The $2 public transport fare concession scheme for elderly and disabled passengers is set for a major overhaul, with a monthly cap of 240 trips and adjusted discounts for fares above $10, according to sources. The changes are expected to be announced in next Wednesday's budget announcement. Under the revised scheme, fares below $10 will remain at $2 per trip, while fares above $10 will be charged at 20% of the original fare. For example, a $20 fare would cost $4, and a $30 fare would cost $6. Eligibility for the scheme remains unchanged, covering individuals aged 60 or above and eligible disabled persons. The move follows a review of the scheme, which currently allows unlimited trips at a flat rate of $2. The new measures are expected to save the government billions of dollars annually. The city's stock market thrived on the back of technology stocks to close at a new 3-year high. Anna Chen reports.
After opening up some 500 points, the benchmark Hang Seng Index stretched its upsurge and soared 900 points, or 4% for the day, to end at its daily high, marking a new 3-year record. The total market turnover for the day amounted to $393.5 billion. Despite today's surge, the benchmark index just added 857 points for the week. Alibaba's quarterly results beat expectations, elevating its stock price by 14.6% for the day to reach a 3-year high. Tencent Cloud's TI platform supports fine-tuning and inference for the entire DeepSeek model series. Its shares swelled 6.2%. Bilibili ballooned 16.5% as it turned a quarterly loss into a profit. Auto stocks also raced ahead, with BYD ended the day up 4.6% after hitting a new intraday high of $398.6. Li Auto leaped more than 7%. A number of chip stocks set new highs as well, as SMIC jumped up over 7% and closed at the daily high, while Hua Hong shot up 9.2%. Anna Chan, Cable News.
5 subsidiaries of construction giant Paul Y Group have received High Court approval to appoint provisional liquidators amid escalating financial disputes. Despite the turmoil, the government assures that public infrastructure projects tied to the group will experience only controllable disruptions. Quinton Yang has more details.
The 79-year-old firm has been grappling with a worsening financial crisis since last year, as workers demand unpaid wages and suppliers pursue legal action to recover debts. The situation has now intensified, with 5 subsidiaries seeking court-appointed provisional liquidators, a stark downfall for the once prominent builder. During a High Court hearing today, lawyers representing the companies disclosed their inability to pay employees and the termination of a contract with a housing society. A letter from the official receiver's office reportedly cited prima facie evidence supporting the need for liquidation. The firms have proposed PricewaterhouseCoopers, Victor John, and Christopher So as provisional liquidators to protect assets and creditors' interests. Representatives stressed the move was not driven by hidden motives, calling the collapse a tragic day in Hong Kong's construction history. Meanwhile, the government confirmed Paul Y's involvement in 13 public works contracts, 12 of which are joint ventures. Officials believe co-contractors have sufficient capacity to complete the remaining work, while the sole independent project, nearing completion, poses minimal risk. For other support measures, the Monetary Authority, Development Bureau, and the Construction Industry Council will work with banks to aid subcontractors and suppliers facing cash flow challenges. Additionally, the Labor Department will mediate unpaid wage claims and help employees recover owed funds. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
The government defended its decision to only broadcast an edited version of the opening ceremony of Kai Tak Sports Park, stating it aims to optimize the viewer experience. Quentin Yang again has the story.
As Hong Kong prepares to unveil its brand new $30 billion sports hub, debate intensifies over the government's choice to present only the polished narratives, as the public feels excluded from a landmark moment for the city's largest sports infrastructure project. Taken to the airwaves, Secretary Lau explained the delay was only to ensure a smoother viewer experience. We hope to air the program in one go so viewers can enjoy a packed program. After having many considerations, we think going for post-production is better, she said. She also highlighted the simultaneous broadcast on 4 local TV channels, underscores the government's emphasis on the event. Addressing speculations in a local newspaper that linked the delay to technical limitations involving co-producer China Central Television, Law firmly dismissed the rumors as baseless. CCTV has immense production expertise. How could there be technical constraints? Law retorted, adding that the local teams, including broadcasters, are equally skilled. Echoing the government's position, DAB lawmaker Vincent Chen said on the same radio program that condensing the best moments of the show will keep audiences engaged. Whether the highlights reel will satisfy residents remains to be seen. For now, all eyes are on March 1st, when the curtain rises on Kai Tak Sports Park, both on stage and behind the scenes. Quentin Ya, Cable News.
Meanwhile, the 8,500 tickets of the opening show for public sale, priced at a symbolic $10 each, were snapped up within half an hour of going on sale. The online sales began at 10 a.m. on the ticketing platform UrbTix. Each individual could only purchase 2 tickets. Virtual queues formed immediately with an estimated waiting time for more than 2 hours. By almost 10:30 a.m., only 12 tickets remained, and all were sold out by around 10:35 a.m. Successful buyers must collect printed tickets in person at the sports park to gain entry. To encourage early collection, the first 1,000 people to exchange their vouchers next Thursday or Friday will receive discount coupons for the Kai Tak Retail Pavilion. Apart from the first batch of tickets sold this morning, 8,300 more will be reserved by authorities to allocate to grassroots families, executive and legislative council members, district councillors, and so on. While the remaining 16,800 are to be distributed by the Kai Tak Sports Park Company. Embattled Democratic Party has taken its first formal step toward dissolution, marking a symbolic end to one of the city's oldest and once the biggest opposition group. Quentin Yang has the story.
The party's Central Committee announced the establishment of a working group to oversee liquidation procedures during a press conference yesterday, capping months of financial strain and political uncertainty. Chairman Loh Kin-hei acknowledged the abruptness of the move, revealing that even during the party's leadership reshuffle in December 2023, dissolution was not on the agenda. When asked to explain the rush timeline on a radio program today, Loh declined to elaborate, stating that people can interpret the situation in their own way, but I can't share more details. His cryptic remarks hinted at unspoken pressures facing the party, which has struggled with dwindling funds and a decimated membership following the 2019 social unrest. Multiple senior members have been imprisoned on political charges, while others have quit public life. Former DP chairwoman Emily Lau expressed reluctance about the dissolution. I don't support this, but we have to consider the situation, she said in a radio interview, alluding to fears of further legal repercussions for members. The Democratic Party has not set a timeline for its final dissolution, but its exit signals a near-total collapse of the city's formal opposition camps. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
The move has drawn sharp criticism from the pro-establishment camp. In a Facebook post, Regina Ip, chairwoman of the New People's Party and a key government advisor, claimed the group had become troublemakers with an anti-China agenda, adding that dissolution was a self-inflicted outcome. The Democratic Alliance for the Betterment and Progress of Hong Kong also chimed in, issuing a statement accusing the party of pursuing an incredibly radical path that severely harmed national security and Hong Kong's stability, echoing that the disbandment is self-inflicted. While Hong Kongers may face a 10% fare hike on the city's iconic trams, some lawmakers suggest even higher increases, with others proposing to promote tourism to boost revenue. According to the tram company's fare adjustment application, ticket price for adult could rise by 30 cents to $3.30. Children's fares may increase by 10 cents to $1.60, and senior fares for those aged 65 and over could go up by 20 cents to $1.50.
This fare increase aims at ensuring the financial viability of Hong Kong tramways for the coming few years. Actually, we have to fight hard on the different our different business lines. So first of all, we have to fight hard to retain ridership of passengers and to even attract more passengers and generate more fare box revenues. So this is also what this fare increase is about.
Legislator Michael Lee called the proposed hike too modest, especially given post-pandemic ridership declines, and doubted if the company can balance its revenue and expenses. Meanwhile, lawmaker Chan Hock Fong proposed developing tram tourism, such as turning the tram depot into a museum and promoting nearby markets to generate additional income. Britain has lined up Peter Wilson, the son of the ex-governor of Hong Kong, as the next ambassador to China, according to a Reuters report. Quoting three sources, Reuters reported that the Mandarin-speaking diplomat who has served as the British ambassador to the Netherlands and Brazil is expected to take up the new position in the next few months. Britain's foreign ministry declined to comment. Peter Wilson previously worked at the British Embassy in Beijing, where he was political counselor, as well as principal private secretary to former Prime Minister Boris Johnson. His father, David Wilson, was the penultimate British governor of Hong Kong between 1987 and 1992, during which his family lived in the city. Amid a widening rift between Washington and Kyiv, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met with U.S. President Donald Trump's envoy. But a news conference planned to follow the talk was called off at the last minute. Anna Chen reports.
Sure, got a good concert.
As tensions deepened between U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukraine's leader met with Trump's special envoy Keith Kellogg in Kyiv yesterday. Zelensky said it was good conversation with lots of details, including discussions about security guarantees and the return of Ukrainian prisoners from Russian custody. However, a planned news conference was cancelled at the last minute, as requested by the U.S. side. The two leaders have traded rebukes in recent days. Trump described Zelensky as a dictator, while Zelensky accused his counterpart of living in a disinformation bubble.
Look, President Trump is obviously very frustrated right now with President Zelensky. The fact that that he hasn't come to the table, that he hasn't been willing to take this opportunity that we have offered. I think he eventually will get to that point, and I hope so very quickly.
Walz went on to note Trump's frustration over Zelensky's refusing an offer from Washington that would have given the U.S. access to Ukraine's critical minerals in return for future aid or even as compensation for the support the U.S. has already provided. In another potential stock shift by Ukraine's most powerful Western ally, the U.S. is reportedly refusing to co-sponsor a draft United Nations resolution marking Ukraine's 3-year-old war that backs the nation's territorial integrity and again demands Russia withdraw its troops. According to several diplomatic sources, Washington has also objected to a phrase in a G7 statement next week that would condemn Russian aggression. Whereas U.S. intelligence showed that Russian President Vladimir Putin is not preparing to seriously engage in peace talks with Ukraine, but only to seize it as an opportunity for Russia to return to the world stage as a normal country. Anna Chen, Cable News.
Mainland's fresh drink maker Misha is seeking to raise $3.45 billion in an initial public offering in Hong Kong. Miche, the world's largest food and beverage chain by store count, plans to sell 17.1 million H shares at $202.50 apiece, with an option to increase the number of shares depending on demand. The entry fee for a board lot of 100 shares is about $20,454. Book building kicked off today until next Wednesday, and trading is expected to debut on March 3rd. That's our news tonight. I'm Jeremy Zhu. Thank you for watching, and good night.